In Lost Ark, the first class I rode was Berserker. Do I regret this decision? Let us talk about it. Since this is would I regret rolling the Berserker, I think I'm going to talk about what I do not like first about the hero, in case these are things that might actually stop you from using the hero. First and foremost, some of the abilities can feel clunky. So while I'm playing the hero feels fluid, but there's a few odd abilities that just feel like I can miss them. And this may be a player issue, a skill-based issue. I am new. I did not play the betas and I am learning. However, that doesn't really fix the issue for me, which is that a couple of the abilities, once you use them, especially the combo ones, can be fully locked into a direction, and you can be sitting there swinging for a few seconds while literally completely missing your enemies, and that really feels bad to do. Now, there is a point of me in my brain which tells me this is reward mechanics, like you get rewarded with a good feeling and good damage when you hit somebody with these combos, and then when you're not landing it, you are actually basically getting bodied, and that is the risk versus reward with your bigger moves. I can understand this logic. I'm not arguing against it. It's just how it feels to play. On the flip side, when you land the abilities, it's amazing. The amount of damage you do, I feel like an insane god when I'm playing through the game. I'm crushing the small minions, and I feel like I'm making massive impact on the big minions when I'm fighting the bosses. I will say that I played with my partner who was playing Paladin, my good buddy from YouTube, Kyr Mobile, and he was crushing with the Paladin as well, but it was blindingly obvious that as I was playing the Berserker, I was doing the more DPS, and I was clearing through the individual quest quicker, and I was outpacing him in the actual main story. Now, this might have been because he's playing more of a support healer class within the Paladin. It's just another warrior option, and the Paladin was something that I thought originally looked really cool. I like the abilities that kind of almost look like a mage. The Paladin still looks amazing and is going to scale into late game better with the support stats. However, the Berserker was obviously chewing through the content quicker. I also had a buddy that rode the gun lance, and that's sort of the tank class, and he was slower than both of us going through the content. Now, he did start later, so he had to do it by himself, but I did watch him streaming it. The damage numbers, as well as how slow he was going through the campaign, it is obvious that the order in speed, if you're trying to solo, is Berserker, Paladin, then probably the gun lance. That's what I've seen. It makes sense. Paladin is sort of an off healer. The gun lance is literally a tank, and the Berserker is your hardcore DPS, and all the animations, the gameplay style, and the damage does represent that. Aesthetically, I actually think I did prefer the Paladin. I think the Paladin looks better with its animations. However, my cat in the background is losing her mind. Best thing by far is when you're a warrior, there's this thing called berserk mode. You hit the Z button, you go berserk, your guy turns red, and you get just the coolest feeling animations ever. It's massive attack speed gain. Even your basic attack, you feel like you're shredding. You're an absolute god among men when you go into berserk mode, and it feels every bit as fluid, and it feels so strong. You just feel like you're crushing through and just decapitating all of the enemies. It is absolutely the definition of brutal, and they get that perfect. There is definitely some annoying stuff with the Berserker. It's not all gravy. Ranged moves are essentially non-existent. If you are trying to kill somebody from range, you're going to want to walk up to them to kill them. Now, this isn't a problem. I mean, it is a warrior. That's quite literally the point. But your movability moves, like the things that are going to help you gap close, are fairly limited. You have a couple of them, and I think it's also blindingly obvious in PvP that your PvP is going to be based upon how well you utilize these versus other people's gap closers. I haven't done a ton of PvP myself. I am focusing more on the PvE at the moment, so I can't tell you with 100% certainty, but from what I've felt, the Berserker feels okay in PvP. I don't think it's top tier. I don't think it's bottom tier. It feels pretty healthily in the middle. It feels like basically every warrior in an MMO, to be quite honest. I will say the PvE, though, is where I feel like he shines. And that could just be my playstyle. I am somebody who enjoys PvE way more. So I am, much more vulnerable to feeling like I'm having a good time when I'm playing PvE, because I am having a better time when I'm playing PvE than the PvP. But I will say the gap closers feel, and the lack of a massive ranged ability, and the fact that the animation times can be larger, all kind of feel like retractors in a game where you're battling both ping, I am from Alaska, as well as another player. The options you have with your abilities when you level them up make them feel good. The Whirlwind felt bad to start, but when I maxed it out, it felt fantastic. The other moves feel the same way. Maxing them out feel like you're changing the move in its entirety. Some of the ones when you max them out actually remove the problem I'm talking about of the locked in animation. It will like shoot out hooks and grab people around you and pull them in so that way they are closer for your AoE. Things like this are massively important, in my opinion. You have to have ways of dealing with tons of AoE when you're in the middle. The biggest problem I've had with the warrior is I'll combo into or jump into a massive thing of mobs, and then the people behind me are basically just dumpstering me because I have this gigantic over-the-top overkill damage in front of me in the cone with this two-handed sword. But the monkey on my back is just stabbing me over and over, and I'm such a buff guy, I can't reach behind me is what it feels like. All the pros and cons weighed of the warrior, and having played next to both other variants of the warrior on my friends list, I think I can say hands down, I'm glad I made this decision. I do not regret rolling the Berserker. I do have a few things about the Berserker I'm going to have to learn to play around. I feel like these are different mentalities. I don't think the Berserker's garbage because there is animation locks. I don't think he's garbage because I can't hit people behind me. I feel like I need to be better at positioning. I feel like I need to be better at PvP. I need to be better at understanding where the enemy is going to go and playing around my latency. It feels like a me issue. It doesn't feel like a warrior issue. And for this reason, if these are my negatives and you're debating rolling the Berserker, for today, you're going to be getting a 4.5 out of 5 for me for this rating of the Berserker in terms of how he feels to play, and I do not regret rolling him. You can roll this hero and have a fantastic time. Thank you for watching. Consider watching some of my other videos, and I'll see you on the next one.